Hey guys, Secret of My House bringing you another video. This one is another video game review on a game that I do not own a physical copy of. This how it worked out. Breath of Fire 4 I didn't own a physical copy of, and this game here I do not own a physical copy of. Do you know what it is? You might be able to tell if you can read the title of the video. Jumping Flash on the PlayStation 1. Wow, what a cool, pleasant surprise this game was. I'd heard of it before. I knew it was a game developed in-house by Sony, by a lot of the same team that had made a lot of like really big name Sony properties. People who had started with games like this and had gone on to work on some of the real all-time classics for the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 with Astrobot. It can link back to Jumping Flash. And I never considered playing it before. I thought once I find a physical copy, I want to give it a try, but honestly, the game never looked super appealing to me. I thought there was something about the game. I heard it had tank controls, and that kind of put me off a little bit. Usually I don't mind tank controls, but I thought, in a platformer, I've played 3D platformers with tank controls, and they've not been the most enjoyable experience. But this one, it's just really fun. It is a first-person platformer released in 1995, so a very early release. Not a release title for the PS1 maybe, but definitely within that first year. It's a first-person platformer where you take control of a robotic rabbit named Robot. You're traveling along these worlds that are floating up in the sky, and they were all created by this guy, Baron Aloha. And you're traveling through the worlds and beating his bosses, and eventually you get to the end and you beat him. Now, the visual style of this game is, like, really cool. It might look weird, like you're playing, like, it is PS1 graphics. It looks like Kingsfield or something. There's a lot of pop-in, there's a lot of mist and stuff, like that foggy effect that you got on a lot of old PS1 games, especially as they were trying to render distance it struggled with. There's Robot there. But the gameplay comes together. You press R2 and then forward to move forward. You're kind of like controlling a car. Like you're accelerating and deaccelerating. You can't strafe, except in certain situations. Like when you're jumping, you can strafe left and right, but when you're on the floor, the ground, you cannot. You can only turn left and right. You can also look up and down. You can look omnidirectionally, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but the game does ease you in pretty well in the first couple of levels, where you're in these kind of, this is the first boss, a dragon. You're in these pretty wide open worlds. You can go wherever you want, and you're just kind of getting the hang of the controls. I didn't actually know you could double jump until the second world, so I was having a little bit of difficulty there, but then in the second world I figured out I could not only double jump but triple jump, and now I could get to these really high platforms, and that's when the game really opened up. It's just fun to control Robot as he jumps around and you shoot enemies. All of the enemies are absolutely adorable. These things are not enemies, they are not monsters, and I almost felt a little bit bad about shooting at them because some of them are like frogs and like giraffe, and one is like a construction worker working on a city, and a lot of them don't even attack you. One was like a spider, and he walks towards you, but I didn't notice him actually attacking. And you can shoot these enemies to defeat them, but you also can jump on them to defeat them, if you can manage to do so. With these early 3D platformers, jumping can be somewhat of a struggle, but this one has, when you jump into the air, when you do a double jump, your character automatically looks down, so that you're looking directly at where you're going to land. And you can see his shadow as you travel downwards and upwards in the air. And it really gives you a good sense of exactly where you're going to land. I did not have any difficulty at all with the platforming in this game. In fact, I only died one time in my playthrough. Oh no, 2 times. One time I was getting shot at by devil masks, and I was stopping to battle each individual one, but you should just run past things. The game wants to be played fast-paced. And the other time I fell off the world, unfortunately. You might be able to see from the gameplay, some of the enemies... yeah, look, a bug creature there. That thing, like, just doesn't attack you. Like, it's just there. So the enemies are very cute. Even some of the bosses are kind of cute. I like the dragon. He's, like, a big, goofy-looking dragon guy. I like him. Some of the enemies and bosses are also, very imaginative. One is like a bunch of teacups full of tea, and they're spinning in a circle, and like a clown. Its arms reach out and try to swipe at you, or like its head comes out of one of the teacups and it blows rings at you that hurt you if they hit you. Very imaginative. One enemy is just like a big cube monster, and it transforms into different forms. I really liked it. The second last boss is a mirror match against like a dark version of yourself, kind of like Legend of Zelda 2. And the final boss is against Baron Aloha, who is in a big giant mech, and spoiler alert, I was disappointed by the ending, and I didn't think the game was over, but you beat him, he flies away, and then that's it. That's the whole game. In fact, when I got to World 6, I thought, I wonder how many worlds are left in this game, because like, I'm really having fun. I was actually like losing myself in the game because I was having so much fun. I looked at the clock. I started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and when I looked at it, I saw, oh, it's 8:30. I've been playing for 30 minutes already, and then I'd beaten the game after only about, I'd say, less than an hour and a half total playtime. So it is very short. And for that reason, I would not recommend buying a physical copy of this game, as they sell for between $40 and $80. A lot of asking prices are much more, but the sold prices are between $40 and $80. However, the PlayStation Store has this game for $9.99 US, so about $15 US Australian, and that's a bit better, especially considering it has like a quick save feature, rewind feature. It's got a lot of modern conveniences that I can imagine would be really nice in a game like this. I played this version emulated just for convenience reasons. These are the enemies that killed me. But those spiders, these things, they just straight up don't attack you. I don't know what to say. Not every level is like a wide open one. Some are like closed in like this. Every world has its own different theme, and I really like these levels. There's only about 3 of them in the game where it's like really closed in and tight, but I really liked them. It helped to break up the gameplay a little bit into like different, it felt like you were doing different objectives, going through a much more linear style. The main point of the game is to collect these carrots. What are they, jet rods? Yeah, these jet rod carrots. You collect 4 of them, and then you head to the exit to go to the next level. And they're hidden throughout the levels. Some are like really high up, some are hidden in like little areas, alcoves, caves. And it is challenging trying to get some of these. You will fall off some of the platforms and stuff, but other times a level is really easy. Some levels I beat in like 2 minutes, others took me 5 or 6. You find bonus stages as well where you have to pop a certain number of balloons. I thought maybe there was like a hidden bonus world if you got all of the balloons, but I looked it up and it turns out there's not, unfortunately. You collect different power-ups as well. You can get like rockets, grenades, mines. You get one that like makes you invincible for a short time, one that refills your health. One thing I will say, enemies, if you're not constantly moving and dodging, enemies can be very tough. If you just engage in a firefight with them, they'll pretty easily take out half of your health with no trouble. The music is really good. You've been listening to it in this one. It's very upbeat. Some good ones there. I don't know if I'll add any of it to my phone, but some of them will stick with me. If I hear them in something else, I'll recognize it and say, oh, that's Jumping Flash. You know, it's very upbeat, cool tempo. One thing I'll say, I looked up the game this was inspired from, a Sharp 68,000 game, and I don't remember exactly what it's called, but that game has like a banger soundtrack, like so cool. This music like sounds like a porno or something. Yeah, it's a shame that we didn't get more of these. It seems like they made the two games, Jumping Flash 1 and 2, and then just kind of gave up on the series. Maybe there was other things they were interested in making. I imagine these games were more like a proof of concept than something they really wanted to flesh out and make into its own series. The graphic style is so nice. Like, people talk about the graphic style of like Cooler World and stuff, and it's the same kind of graphic style here. Very colourful, very blocky, but like very distinct, and like you can tell what everything is. Everything looks really nice. I'll be honest, these days I prefer this style of graphics to anything modern. I really do. I know, like, sometimes I'll see like a character in a modern game and I'll think like, man, that's so realistic, but at the same time, it like looks so bad. But I'll go back to a game like this and I'll say, well, this is charming. This is just something cute looking. It's nice. I really think more modern games should, I know retro horror games have kind of, oh, almost. I know retro horror games have gone back to a kind of, you know, PS1 aesthetic style, but I do think a lot of like, I know people make a lot of like modern platformers, a lot of like Nintendo 64 inspired ones, Banjo-Kazooie inspired, but I tell you, if someone made like a Jumping Flash, I'd very heavily consider giving it a go, because this was a fun game. This was one that I just lost my time in. Definitely like a new favorite on the PS1. I don't know if I'd go like a top 10 game or anything, but one that's going to stick with me and I'll remember. A really fun game. Definitely check it out if you never have. Don't be put off like I was by the notion of it having tank controls and stuff, and you think it's going to play real janky, but it doesn't. It plays really well. It's just fun. My favorite levels, I think this was my favorite level. It's like a carnival, and there's whales, and you ride on like a roller coaster. This was my favorite level. And there's one with like a sunken ship that I really liked as well. But I don't think there are any weak levels in this game. It's just the game's just fun. Right, that'll be it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I've convinced you to give it a try. This is Secret of My House, bidding you farewell. Oh, play it with a controller. This game is I cannot wrap my head around playing with a keyboard. Play with a controller.